So, good morning, breathers. I wanted to talk about glucagon. What's that? What is glucagon? Well, what's insulin? We're just going to simplify it a little bit. Insulin is a fat storage hormone. We need insulin to get all the glucose that we ingest out of our bloodstream because we only need about a teaspoon's worth of glucose. Glucose is sugar. That's 1 teaspoon, 5 grams, 4 or 5 grams. That's all we need for a whole day. Um, so, and by the way, our bodies can produce that without any ingested glucose. Our bodies can do gluconeogenesis, which means our liver converts amino acids into glucose. And most of us don't lose a lot of muscle mass when that happens. There's a big fear. Oh, you're going to cannibalize all your muscle. No, usually not. Maybe in rare cases, but that's very rare. So insulin is secreted by the pancreas, the beta cells, and it comes out when we have carbohydrates. What are carbohydrates? Sugar, bread, potatoes, pasta, cereals, crackers. And there's vegetables are carbohydrates too, but most vegetables are very low in carbohydrates. So there's no problem with most of those. So, so we have the insulin. Most of us are eating really a high carbohydrate diet. So it's not a moral thing. It's not carbs are bad and sugar is bad. It's not like that in a moral sense. It's more a metabolic sense. When we're eating, well, for example, let's say we're good parents. We're feeding our kids some nice cereal, heart healthy honey nut cereal, honey nut Cheerios. Oh, yuck, puke. Heart healthy. I mean, I'm sure it tastes great. I mean, I grew up on Cheerios and Life and all those good cereals. So we're feeding our children this heart healthy food, cereal. Then we're going to have them a glass of orange juice, which is nothing but glucose and fructose, sugar. It's not morally wrong. And then we're going to give them, we're going to give them a bagel. Maybe put some margarine on it. Oh, fantastic. We're doing everything right. Yeah, that's what we believe. That's what we've been told. So we've just given our kids, our little kiddos, more glucose than they can burn in a day. But that's not it. I mean, that's just the first meal. You go get those fruit snacks and sandwiches for lunch, and it's a bunch of more glucose. So from an early age, we're having to produce insulin frequently and pretty much all day. When you're young, you can supposedly, seemingly get away with a lot of that, but it's still taking a toll. You're still inundating your cells with insulin. Your little cell receptors are getting talked a lot to by insulin. So what happens to the glucose? Well, skeletal muscle glucose can be converted into glycogen to stored, to stored in your muscles for use. It's a source of energy. So, but that doesn't take that much storage. There's not that great a storage amount. So let's say you're not as active as you used to be, or maybe not very active at all. You're not using your muscles. So your glycogen stores are full. Now, because if we have too much glucose, we're going to pass out. It's going to kill us. So we got to get rid of it. So now where's it go? Okay, the insulin says, okay, we got to store this in our fat cells. We got to store this as for fuel later on, because we can do that. Our bodies are amazing. That's how we evolve. We can store that food in fat cells and we can access it later on. But the caveat here is that if we have carbohydrates continually coming in, that means we're stimulating insulin production. And of course, our cells are getting insulin resistance more all the time. Even our brain cells, our brains need energy. Some people are calling dementia, Alzheimer's, type 3 diabetes. Oh, and by the way, diabetes is another word for sweet pea, because we have to pee it out. We have to get rid of the excess glucose. So what about glucagon? What is glucagon? Well, insulin, again, is the fat storage hormone. Glucagon is the fat releasing hormone. It releases the fat from our cells to be converted into energy for our use. That's how we evolved. That's how we survived all these many, many years. Feast and famine, feast and famine. The thing about it is, glucagon is very sensitive to insulin. When we have insulin in the blood, glucagon says, hey, I can't be there. My job is to do the opposite of insulin. My job is to release that energy from the fat cells to be converted for use. So when we continue, which most of us do, and we don't really realize, people say, here's a banana. It's really healthy. Well, yeah, of itself, it is. But combine a banana with your orange juice, with your cereal, with your peanut butter and jelly sandwich on white bread, or it doesn't even matter if it's whole wheat. It's still converting into it's a carbohydrate. It's converting into sugar, into glucose. So we have a glucose overload. We weren't evolved. We didn't grow up. We didn't run through the savannah chasing a wildebeest. Oh, man, I got to go to McDonald's and get some French fries and a pop. Oh, yeah, pop. Yeah, that's another one. That's a big one. Full of sugar. And the foods we buy also, it has most of it has high fructose corn syrup in it, which is a deadly potent sugar, deadly potent carbohydrate. So really, it's not really a moral thing. It's just a metabolic thing. We want to give glucagon a chance to do its thing. We don't want to go to the doctor and get shot up with insulin and insulin and insulin. What they're doing is they're trying to force the sugar into our fat cells. We don't need that. We've got enough energy. I never heard of anybody getting the glucagon shot. That would be awesome. What we need to do is lower our carbohydrate intake, specifically our processed carbohydrates. Try it for a little bit. Breads, pastas, all the stuff we love. Of course we love it. It's tasty, but it's killing us. It's killing us. Now, that has worked for me. And I continue to do that. I have carbohydrates frequently. Occasionally, I go on and off. It's called Carb Cycling. But mostly, I'm low carb. I'm almost every day under 50 carbs. Some days I'm at 0 carbs. And usually I'm under 20 carbs. So, everybody's a little bit different, but we have the basic same requirements. We need protein. We need saturated animal fats. So glucagon is the hormone that releases energy, that releases the energy stored by our body for our use. We can't use it if we're continually putting Turkish delight into our body. Excuse me. Glucose. carbohydrates. So what I do, and I do just the opposite of conventional wisdom. I get a lot of sunshine, as much sunshine as I can. Uh, please, no sunscreen. Um, I don't burn. If you're burning, then you got to get just below the level where you start to burn. We don't want any burns. I eat as much saturated fat as I can. That's the demonized fat. That's the animal fat. That's the stable. Actually, it's the stable fat. Polyunsaturated fats are unstable. Your vegetable oils, which are not vegetable oils, they're seed oils. They're highly heated, highly processed, and deadly seed oils. They cause systemic inflammation in your body. Get rid of the canola oil, soybean oil, vegetable oil. So, and I eat a lot of red meat. That's the most nutrient dense food in the planet. I do exactly opposite of the conventional wisdom. And for me, that's worked well. I have more energy, more strength. I'm very happy with it. And people, for the most part, they think I'm doing okay. You know, they don't believe I'm 69, although I think I'm starting to look like I'm 69. Maybe not act like it, but that's doesn't have anything to do with the diet. Anyway, folks and peeps, I just wanted to talk a little bit about glucagon and how that for some people, well, okay, I'm gonna rant just a second here. You're probably not watching it any longer anyway. Um, I would believe and say that most obese people are following the guidelines. They're eating low fat. They're eating heart healthy whole grains. They're following the rules for the most part. I don't think anybody follows pretty much any rules 100%. I don't even follow my own rules 100%. They're following the guidelines. They took out the fat and they had to add more sugar because it doesn't taste good without the fat. They're demonizing red meat, and all the studies that demonize it are what they call observational studies. They ask people what they ate for the whole year. Oh, I had a pizza with pepperoni. Okay, that person eats meat. I smoke a ton of cigarettes. I don't work out. Um, and I had hot dogs and hamburgers. Well, they didn't say they had hot dogs and hamburgers with the bun, with fries, and with the pops, the sodas. That's not a study. That is not a study. Red meat is not bad for your heart. Red meat is the most, if red meat was bad for your heart, there would not be a human species because that's our species specific food. That's good food for us. We eat cows and other mammals. Anyway, I think I'm about done ranting. Nothing about breath work today, though your respiratory system is foundational for your life. Anyway, eat meat. It's good for you. Thank you. Coach Couch out.